All right, today we're going to do something that, well, it sounds complicated, but I promise you it's actually super simple. We're going to build a real working web page from total scratch. And the best part, we're going to do it in just a few minutes with a tool you already have on your computer. So let's just dive right in.
So have you ever been just browsing the web and had that thought pop into your head, how does this even work? Could I actually build something like this? Well, let me tell you, the answer is a huge, resounding yes, and it is way easier than you probably think. Today, you're going to take that first, really important step.
And the secret to all of it? It starts right here with something called HTML. The easiest way to think about it is like this. It's the skeleton of a body, or maybe the blueprint for a house. It is the absolute fundamental structure that holds every single website together. I mean, everything from Google down to your favorite little blog.
Okay, so what is this blueprint exactly? Well, here's the cool part. It turns out that every web page, and I don't care how complicated it looks, is built on the exact same basic foundational structure.
You know, it really just boils down to these four core parts. First, you've got a declaration that basically shouts at the browser, hey, this is an HTML document. Then you have the main HTML container that holds everything, a head section for all the behind-the-scenes info, and finally a body section for everything you can actually see on the page. That's it. Seriously, that is the core of the entire web. Okay, enough theory, right? Let's actually put this into practice. It's time to get our hands dirty and build our very first web page. And hey, I really encourage you to open up a text editor and follow along with me here. It'll be fun. And you don't need any special expensive software for this. Just open a basic text editor, like Notepad if you're on Windows, or TextEdit on a Mac. Create a new totally blank file, and now listen, this is the most important part. Save it immediately as index.html. That .html at the end is the magic bit. It's what tells your computer, hey, this isn't a text file, it's a web page. Okay, so in that new file you just made, the very first thing you're going to type is HTML. That's that declaration we talked about. It just lets the browser know what it's looking at. Right after that, we add our main container. You'll type an opening HTML tag and then a closing HTML tag. Just think of them as bookends. Everything else for our entire page is going to go right in between those two. All right, next up, right inside our HTML tags, we're going to add the head section. Now, this part's kind of cool because nothing you put here actually shows up on the page itself. It's all metadata, which is just a fancy word for data about the page. For now, we'll just pop in a title tag. See that text at the very top of your browser tab? Yep, that's what this controls.
And now, it's time for the main event, the body tags. Right after that closing head tag, we open up the body. This is our canvas. This is the good stuff. Everything, and I mean everything, we put between these two tags is what people will actually see when they visit our webpage.
So we've got our skeleton. It's all set up. Now it's time to add, some flesh to these bones. Let's start putting some actual visible content onto our page.
And to do that, we use some really common HTML tags. Things like headings, paragraphs, links, maybe an image. These are the basic building blocks of pretty much every site out there. And we're about to use a few of them right now. So let's hop back into our code right inside those body tags. First, we're going to use an H1 tag for our main heading. The H1 just stands for heading 1. The biggest, most important one. Then right below that, let's use a P tag for a simple paragraph of text. Pretty simple, right?
I mean, a web page isn't really a web page without some links, is it? For that, we use the A tag, which stands for anchor. But just having the tag isn't enough. We have to tell it where to link to. We do that with something called an attribute. In this case, href, which is short for hypertext reference. Just think of an attribute as a little piece of extra information for the tag. That href is what tells the browser the actual web address to go to.
And believe it or not, that's it. Our code is done. We've written it, we've saved the file, so now it's time for the big reveal. Let's go see what we actually made.
This is the easy part, I promise. All you have to do is find that index.html file you saved on your computer. But don't open it in the text editor again. This time, just double-click it. Your computer will know exactly what to do and will open it right up in your regular web browser.
And just like that, there it is. Your heading, your paragraph, your link, it's all right there, live in a browser. You did it! Seriously, congratulations. You are now officially a web developer. You just created a real thing from nothing but a little bit of code.
So where do you go from here?
I mean, building this first page is an incredible start, but trust me, it's just the very beginning of a really, really exciting journey.
Okay, you're probably looking at your page and thinking, this is cool, but it's kind of plain. And you're right. That's because HTML only handles the structure. To add all the style, colors, fonts, fancy layouts, you need its best friend, CSS. The analogy is perfect. If HTML is the skeleton, CSS is the clothes, the hairstyle, the personality. Keeping those two things separate is one of the most important ideas in web design.
And as you keep going, you'll start to expand your HTML vocabulary. You'll quickly find new tags for things like images and bulleted lists, and especially the div tag. Now, that last one just looks like a simple container, but let me tell you, it is one of the most powerful tools you have for organizing the layout of your pages.
Okay, this brings us to the big question, right? Your beautiful new web page is currently living all by itself on your computer. So how in the world do you get it onto the internet so everyone else can see it?
Well, to make it public, you need something called web hosting. All that really means is you're renting a tiny little piece of space on a computer that's connected to the internet all the time. I know, it sounds super complicated, but services like GitHub Pages or Netlify have made it incredibly easy and a lot of times totally free to get your site online.
So there you have it. You've literally taken plain text and transformed it into a working web page. You now have the fundamental skill that the entire internet is built on. You've laid the foundation. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build next?